right now. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's let this stream kick in.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome to the Boiler Room, ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes, lurkers and regulars. It's wonderful to have you with us here tonight. This will be the last Boiler Room before Christmas. Christmas is coming up in a matter of days here. So Ruckus has decorated my studio appropriately. We've got Santa Claus bringing not just red pills, all the color pills. If you only take red pills, they're toxic also. So, we got purples and blues and yellows and all that good stuff. So, welcome again to the Boiler Room. We're broadcasting live at alternatecurrentradio.com. You can find out more about Boiler Room and all our shows over there, alternatecurrentradio.com. And we're broadcasting live on Spreaker for our audio feed. And if I may, just for a moment, if anyone from Spreaker is still listening to the live feeds here, why are you guys shutting down the live streaming service? This is actually somewhat noteworthy, especially for our OG Social Rejects Club members that have been listening to us on Spreaker for over 10 years. 10 years. Can you believe that? We established this Spreaker channel in April of 2014 or August of 2014, I think. And live streaming was what it was all about. Like, you used to go to the front page of Spreaker and it would show right on the front page, first thing you see, top live channels right now, live streaming channels. And ACR we had 1 million listens in our first year and a half to somewhere in there, year and a half, year, 2 years. We had 1 million listens. We were always often in the top 5 and always in the top 10 live streaming channels there at Spreaker. And then something happened, and I get that podcasting has evolved and changed and become more of the thing, but this live streaming feature that Spreaker has given us for all these years, and thank you, Spreaker, for that. It's been a wonderful platform. We've never been censored here. We had a bit of a snafu, if you will, in 2022 with some copyright stuff. They changed the rules that made us have to remove a lot of our back catalog of shows. But it was so cool to do those shows, with nobody clamping down on us, nobody, not having to worry about censorship and all this trash. And, if we wanted to come into a show playing an Opeth song or, whatever, acid bath, we would. And, we had a lot of fun with that. That was one of the things that probably kept us coming back. We did a lot of radio theater and stuff like that. But, as podcasting evolves and digital rights evolve, I get it. But anyway, Spreaker's been a wonderful platform, and they allow us to stream 24/7 out of a virtual server that we have, which is great because we can roll, recent episodes and things like this. And it also gives us a second encoder that I use to do what we're doing right now for our audio only listeners. which is live stream out to Spreaker. It's been a wonderful service, but they told us they're ending it, and they're ending it next week. Actually, they're ending it on the 31st. So we like to be able to live stream our shows. That's kind of how we roll over here. That's, and obviously we've brought millions of listens to Spreaker, many of those through our live streams. And I don't know. I would urge you to rethink that, Spreaker. Otherwise, we're going to, obviously have to find another outlet where we can live stream our audio. I don't know what that looks like. And it's a project I wasn't thinking about having to do. And it sucks because we've promoted Spreaker quite a bit over the years. Always do. Every show. I always do. Anyways, Spreaker, we were disappointed to hear that. And to our listeners out there, audio listeners on that live stream, stand by because there will be a change. There's going to be a change in 2025. It's going to be 2025, you guys. Holy crap. I'm your host, my call sign is Hesher. I'm Brian McLean out of Central Texas. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's welcome some special guests to the program. We got Infidel Pharaoh joining us. He's looking festive, dressed for the occasion there. Infidel, what's up? Welcome to the Boiler Room.
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good, dude. It's
Merry
great to have
Christmas.
you. Yeah, Merry Christmas, bro.
And it sucks to hear about Spreaker. That's I know we're stuck for it for a while, so that sucks.
It's been a wonderful free speech platform for us. I think that there's a likelihood that we didn't get the kind of promotion that other shows on here have gotten, and maybe that's because they let us speak our minds 24/7, say whatever we want, which we've been doing here for 10 years, 11 years. But yeah, it sucks, man. I've really enjoyed the live streams, and we're gonna have to find a new link up now.
So did they say why?
No, I don't think so. Let's bring Ruckus in. He was the one that pointed that message out to me. Ruckus, do you remember if they said why they're stopping supporting live streaming?
Yo, no, not at all.
Are they
Actually.
getting
Sorry,
acquired?
It really did not say.
Yeah,
Actually.
I
There we
think
go.
they've maybe changed hands and merged like at least once during the time that we've been with them. And I know that
Hesher, you got an email though. The reason I found out about it is because I logged in to do my daily Ruckus thing, the update on the last audio episode, and there was a pop-up message that came on, and it said, "Don't forget," and I was like, and that's why I was like, I wasn't sure if you even knew about it. And then after I told you, then like another pop-up message came on with a live person saying, "Hey, how's it going? Did you get that email about how we're taking away the streaming thing?" And I'm just like thinking, oh shit. So maybe there was more information contained inside this email. But we know how email works, Hesher.
Dude, while you were telling me this,
emails.
Oh my God, this is pathetic. While you're telling me this, I searched my email. All right, there's one from November 5th. Important Spreaker reminder regarding live broadcasting. And then the next one was a week ago, and it says, "Oh no, your payment failed." Lovely. That's great. Okay, well, Spreaker, I'll get with you. I'll read that email. I'll make that payment right, and we'll see what happens, you guys. But we need a live stream. Ruckus, it's great to have you. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Thanks. And happy Hanukkah. It's not Christmas yet. It's Hanukkah.
That's right. There you go.
I don't know. Whatever. Happy boiler room. Whatever it is.
Boiler room.
But now I'm feeling out of place, so I'm going to work on some sort of background that will match you guys. Because Infidel went all out. What's with your hands though? I'm curious. What happened there?
It just becoming more Americanized. When that American flag start like growing in your blood.
I know a grok picture when I see one, my friend. Am I right?
No, that's actually not grok. I've been trying quite a bit of them, and this is Microsoft. I'm actually been pretty happy with their generation.
All right. Is that so Copilot then?
I don't know if it's driven by Copilot.
Okay.
But it's a Microsoft.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Let's see here. We actually have fix your festiveness, Ruckus, because someone who knows if you're naughty or nice is going to be joining us soon. And if you're looking all like steampunk like that, I don't know. I might put you on the naughty
list. I'll still look steampunk, I promise, but it'll be Christmas steampunk.
All right. Let's welcome the Truth Hound. Oh, what happened to your cool name you had, man? Now you're just Mark We got Mark Anderson, the one and only Mark Anderson. Just Mark Anderson.
Yeah, my alter ego, I fleece him, the banker. He had to leave. There's more peasants to fleece.
All right. Gotcha. Good to see you, Mark. How you doing? Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, good to be seen. Merry Christmas to y'all. I have visions of drones swirling around my head, and I've got some good insights, perhaps, and some speculation on Droneville out in New Jersey. Some interesting historical parallels, perhaps.
Did you say
And
drones? We got drones, Mark. Check it out.
Yeah, I see you got a few outside your penthouse there. That's great.
Yeah. The ACR penthouse is got a Iranian drone swarm outside of it, so I'm hoping that Santa Claus will come and rescue me, or Infidel Pharaoh. Maybe that guy looks like he could save me.
Yeah, the mothership is hanging out on top of Hesher head. Do you see that? Those legs?
Yeah.
So this is the mothership, the Iranian mothership.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I know. I'm quaking in my boots. All right. Well, Mark, it's great to have you here, and we've got the one and only Saint Nick with us. Santa Claus is here also. Santa Claus, what's up? Welcome to the boiler room.
Mark, my boy, have you been a good little boy this year? Do you want to come sit on my lap and tell me what you want for Christmas?
You're not cute enough for me to sit on your lap, I don't think.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we got Santa Claus in the house. Great to have you with us tonight, Santa Claus.
I knew he was real. I knew he was real.
Yeah, right. I know. We've been talking about the logistics of being Santa Claus before the show started. Actually, we had a great green room session tonight. We'll put that maybe up on the website as some bonus material. We had some fun in the green room, but we have launched, and I said hello to. I stopped at saying hello to Spreaker, but I forgot to say hello to Rockfin and Rumble and X and YouTube. Actually, clicked the YouTube button tonight, so. Merry Christmas to our YouTube viewers out there as well. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday lined up for themselves, and not losing too much sleep over the drone swarms and all that. So yeah, we're out there on X as well. Hello, anybody watching out there at X. It's great to have you with us. It is December the 19th. 2024. This is our second to last boiler room of the year. We'll do another one next Thursday, unless some crazy stuff pops off. You never know. Sometimes we got to light up in emergency mode, but hopefully we'll be able to keep our normal schedule and everybody have a nice chill holiday, and we won't have any black swan events or market crashes or outbreaks of bird flu or governors shutting down or setting up emergency states in places like California. We don't want to see any of that happening, right? That could, I don't know. I just hope everybody makes it, survives the media this holiday season. And for our MAGA friends out there, don't gloat too much at the dinner table, all right? I know you're going to be sitting there with some people that are unhappy, so enjoy it, but proceed with caution, my friends, especially if drinking champagne or spiked eggnog. All right, so it's great to have you guys with us here tonight. Cavi, if you're out there, you're welcome to jump in here and join us. Mark, Santa Claus, everybody, Santa Claus tonight is Sumo from the Mystical American Patriots Society. If you're not familiar with him, he and Cavi do an amazing show that we have here at Alternate Current Radio. They let us help curate that wonderful program. Sumo, great to have you.
Isn't it a good show? Would you say it's like deeply profound or like only a little profound?
It's deeply profound, and and it has the theatrical flair that I love. You know what I mean? It's like,
thank you. I agree with you. I think I am also good.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I have been laying down some either completely insane nonsense or deep profundity for a while, and it's good enough that most people can't tell the difference, and neither can I.
Yes.
So I never know. I'm always saying things. I'm like, that's either genius or complete insanity. I don't
Right.
know.
Well, that's the razor's edge, right? That's the knife's edge that we all travel on right now, as we try to like have a worldview that has any sort of reflection in reality. If we can even understand what that is anymore, as that becomes more blurry, like that razor's edge gets a little sharper, So there really is only madness on one side and genius on the other.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm still waiting on my invite.
Oh yeah, I meant to do that, but I don't know. I've always been intimidated by your muscles.
All right, I'll be more modest when I come on your show.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate bodybuilding, but you're very intense.
AI, I can't help it.
Yeah. How many reps are you doing per set, man? Like a 3-3-8 split or something?
It depends, man. Like it's all about at the end of the volume, right? So I like to go with lighter weights, more reps.
German volume training. I agree. I personally do. I try to do sets of 15 reps.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, let's see here. Spore is not with us tonight, but her and I looked into the icebreaker room, and I gotta say, folks, where's our icebreaker suggestions this week?
Is she avoiding me? She wasn't on the last time I was on either. Is it me?
No, what happened was we got a puppy, and it requires almost 24/7 attention, especially if we both try to be on air at the same time. So she's graciously minding the dogs.
What kind of dog?
It's Chug.
Oh.
You ever seen a Chug?
I've never seen a Chug. It sounds hardy. It sounds like a hardy animal.
It is a hardy animal. Do you know what it is? Do you have any guesses what the
sounds like a Chihuahua and a pug?
You got it. You got it. Yep.
Okay.
It's like a Chihuahua with a longer body, and then this like flat little like gremlin shark face thing with an underbite.
How is the attitude? Is it a Chihuahua attitude or a pug attitude?
I'll show you. Watch. I've never really known many pugs, so I don't know if her attitude seems 50
more chill.
It's like 50% Chihuahua. She's like Chihuahua in her legs and in her feet, but in her head, I don't know what's going on. That is pug brain, I think, in the head.
I don't know. That's a pretty cute dog, actually.
Yeah.
Do you have the other dog still, Killer Cadogan?
Yeah. We've got Rambo and Xena. Yeah, so we got a 3-pack of security dogs here.
We got a dog last year, and we've all I've never purchased from a reputable breeder. I purchased from breeders, but not people that like have. And we got this dog, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a mid-sized dog," and like it was like 4 months old, and it was like taller than the couch, and I was like, "What are you? What is this breed?" And it grew to be this monster. So I hope you got what you paid for.
We shall see.
Yeah.
She's like 8 or 9 months now, I think, and she's already kind of like, I don't know, it feels like she's doubled in size. Like I've been able to one-hand her for quite a while, and now my arm's already getting sore.
Right.
But yeah, Spore says hi, and I'm gonna put her down, Spore. You can come open the door if you want. And we looked at the icebreakers. There weren't a whole lot, so let's see what we got here. We do have something to start with. So it's this one. You guys noticed the rise in people that just young people that don't look they look modified, I should say. Perhaps they look modified. There's a huge explosion, especially with you young ladies, of the lip fillers and like all these things. Well, we've talked about designer vagina surgeries on this show before, and now it looks like women are getting designer nipple filler for perkier bosoms. Not something to hide anymore. If Ruckus, you're voting for it. All right. So there you go. That's the look. I guess that's the look that the ladies are going for with the designer nipples there. All nip no tuck. Forget filler in your pout or cheekbones. The trendiest cosmetic procedure is a nipple augmentation, known as designer nipples. So, as sheer garments and bra-free fashion remain in vogue, there you go.
Can we go back up?
Yeah.
Absolutely titillating.
Back up to there. Is that the part, Infidel? Is that
Yeah,
what-
I just want to check. Okay.
All
I
right.
just wanted to confirm what's the shape of it.
Yeah. Who left us that one? Whose was that? That was
actually me, yo.
That was Ruckus.
Damn
That
straight.
was Ruckus. Damn straight. All right. Well, there you go. Wow.
Fascinating, titillating.
Titillating, indeed.
No bra December, ladies. No bra December.
No bra December. And we probably,
Let's start that trend.
yeah.
Invest in coal because there's just more of it I require more of it every year. Look at this. Every year I require more of it.
Does that mean we're on your naughty list this year, Santa?
No, just society in general.
All right.
Society and its malcontents.
All right.
I got an observation.
Yeah.
If somebody's really into the global warming ideology and they want, renewable energy, get them coal. It's not just that they've been naughty. It's very symbolic. No, you're going to stick with coal.
You're going to stick with coal and we're all going to burn and die. That's right.
But not Santa. He's immortal.
I'm at the North Pole. It will take a long time for global warming to get to me.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say about that, ladies. I suggest you don't do it personally. I suggest you do not submit yourself to these procedures to look a certain way. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Well, I've been doing a deep dive on mimetic desire, Rene Girard and mimetic desire, and we don't know. You have puppies, so you've probably witnessed this recently. Like you give the puppy food, it doesn't want it. The other puppy comes up to eat it, and suddenly it's like I have to also have it.
Yeah.
And that's really all human desire. Is we don't know what we desire, so we mimic the desires of others. And so when you see it on Instagram, that's just what people have to want. He who controls the Instagram controls social behavior.
Yeah, indeed. That feedback loop essence.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
Yeah.
I think advertisers tap into that.
Yeah. No one actually outside of like the necessities of life, nothing that you actually want really is from you. You get your cues about what is desirable from other people. That's why, by the way, birth control has had this fertility crisis effect, because most women only really get baby fever when their friend gets a baby. And so if no one has it, it's like a snowballing effect in either direction.
Huh.
It explains so much.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, Infidel, what did you just drop me here? What is this?
I don't know. I was like, I wanted to search for like nipple shapes and anatomies, and that's what came up.
Okay.
Which is closest to yours, Infidel?
I would say the bottom second from the right.
Is your
What's-
nipple
what's with the-
color
what's
the
with the
same as your
singular?
areola color, or is it different?
I don't know. I don't know what
Mine
is
are
this
pretty
one
much
with
the
the hair
same.
coming out of it. That is really disturbing.
I don't have a lot of hair either. I have very bald nipples, and their color is pretty even throughout the whole thing. I don't understand the people that have like a nipple.
And this second top right looks like a really like googly eyes.
This is actually how race should be determined.
Dude, the second top right, it looks like Cookie Monster after eating too many cookies. Smoking.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But it's really interesting because So I assume if you do that, you're going to lose sensation in your nipple, right? And I don't know. Nipple is one of the most sensitive areas. I'm not gonna be gruesome or anything, but just from pleasure standpoint, nipple is one of the most pleasurable areas for females, right? And you go for just changing the shape of it and start losing sensation. It just tells you about how the society think right now. It's like all what they care about is Yeah, I just want to have this perkier nipple that just like pierce through my shirt. It's I don't know, man. It's really
So they see this every day.
they see
And
this every day, but then
all of
you
a
know
sudden they need to have surgery to achieve that. 'cause
that's right, and it is just a really like a reflection of one reflection of what the society is going through, right? Is like everything about this just superficial image that they want to have because of the how the other person look like, right? And to show to other people with no uh um with no with no with I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Sorry guys, I blacked out. But
no, that's all right.
yeah, I mean, you know what I'm trying to say is basically like there is like they don't care about the actual true feeling or how they feel.
It's all about aesthetics.
It's all about aesthetic. Thank you. It's just
Yeah.
about the superficial image, right?
Yep. And that is like a manifestation of that greater disconnect, I think.
That's
probably.
right. Yep.
Well, Creative Accidents has a solution for everybody. If you don't know Creative Accidents, you're probably not hanging out in our Discord, and you should. He's one of our OGs, one of those people I mentioned earlier that have been listening to us on Spreaker for a decade, even longer, as there are a number of people out there. But are you ready for it? Are you ready for it?
Ready.
This is the solution for the lady out there that is thinking about this. Ice and nipples go well together. All right, there you go. Problem solved. Problem solved.
Apply cold.
Apply cold.
Apply coal.
Pressure is
cold.
probably a second favorite for some. So cold. Or
Who knows better than the Russian, right? It's
that's right.
yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, that come straight from the Russian.
There you go, Hesher.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, we just got a title there. Great. So we'll call this night Jolly Saint Nipple-us night.
Nipple-us.
Saint Nipple-us. Wow.
All right. Any further comments on this or closely related social topics before we take a turn here and go current events?
There are a lot of
I don't
women
think
that won't
Infidel
read
ever
it.
told us what his nipples are like. Just to be
I mean, you
fair.
can see from the picture, dude.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
kind of in shadow, though. I mean,
They
that's
look
not really a
No, they are
nipple.
pointing down and they are pointy. If I
look-
wore my tight body shirt and you
Yeah.
throw some water in there, you'll see them.
they look designer, dude.
Yeah, they are. That's AI generated nipples right there. It's perfect nipples.
Do you think there'll ever be surgeries for men to get their nipples removed? Because it's kind of weird when you have a shirt on, you can see through them.
They would call that surgery the Ken.
Yeah, Ken. Well, in the paranormal, we call those people smoothies. There are aliens that like people encounter. They say they encounter that have no genitalia. They're just smooth there and no nipples, and called smoothies. I don't know if they're real, but they get reported frequently.
Yeah, the Grays has no nipples.
Well, these are like human looking, except when they take their pants off, there's just nothing.
Oh,
I don't know how those people go to the bathroom.
creepy. I don't know.
But
How many aliens have been in front of you taking their pants off?
I don't know. That's
that's the
disturbing.
main thing that happens when you get abducted, Ruckus. Where have you been?
Happily not being abducted, apparently.
That's what happens when you get abducted. There's probes, there are long fingers, and there are tables.
That's what happened
And
when
that's if you remember being abducted.
Right.
It's sometimes it takes a while to get it out of you. You have a twisting
Well,
and
that's
turning.
that's
sleep.
what she said.
I think this is suddenly a lead into another story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know what that might be, but this one is one that caught my attention last week and I didn't make it to. Donald Trump announces plans to end daylight savings time. What do you guys think? Let's get rid of daylight savings time. What do you think about this, Infidel? You like the idea?
I do like that day. I hate fucking daylight saving.
Are you on the hookah?
Useless.
Are you smoking hookah right now?
I am.
What flavor you got?
Is it too much? Double
Oh,
apple.
no, it's
Just
cool.
traditional.
I just got jealous for a second.
Yeah, just traditional double apple.
All right.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I hate it.
Me too.
Yeah, like and it only works for like a little bit, and then after that, it just gets dark again, like pretty freaking quick.
Yeah.
Like I was waking up at 7 a.m. because I'm like on the edge of the Eastern time zone. So like it's 7:15 and it's still freaking dark. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just stop confusing people and change a clock on them and just end it.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think? I was just talking with our friend Johnny about this a couple of weeks ago, actually. What do you think? Is this a good idea?
It's interesting that Trump would think about something fundamental like that, as opposed to some hot button issue. This is something like, okay, we're going to mess with the hands of time. In a way, that's kind of a good sign in the general sense that he would look at something like that at all. It's interesting. To me, a person that would mess with time would also mess with the money. You know what I mean? You're dealing with the fundamental machinery of life. So I kind of agree to get rid of it. I think there's the arguments to get rid of it are probably better than the arguments to keep it. But I like a little bit of what that says about Trump. And I'm not outright MAGA or anything like that. But to me, if you're willing to do that, then maybe you're going to look at, well, maybe we shouldn't have an all borrowed money supply. Let's get rid of that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does seem sort of like a low hanging fruit, like something that's like, duh, this should have been done a long time ago. But it's like, could we just maybe work on not having World War III or not having drone swarms, or stuff like that? Maybe close the border. It's a little thing.
Yes. Speaking of that, it's also interesting what Trump said about the drone swarms. And he didn't get real in depth. He didn't swing his fist too hard, but he said basically that we're being gaslit. He said that it's the government, and if the government says they don't know what it is, they probably do know what it is, and there's no way they could not know what it is. He made that sort of comment. To me, that's kind of a general way, without being too pushy, of saying we're being gaslit, or which is largely what it is in the final analysis, whatever other variables there might be. If you or I, had one or more drones and were flying them irregularly or in some way that was contrary to custom or law or would interfere with someone else's commerce, there would be absolutely no problem identifying where they came from and what to do about them. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whether I owned 100 drones, whether I owned 1,000 drones. And if you put the wrong thing on Facebook, you can have cops knocking on your door or kicking your door in. So don't tell me, don't lie to my face. Stop telling me you don't know what it is, okay? Or where they're from.
Yeah. This is
we
like,
have a central intelligence agency, that costs $1 trillion a day, so to speak. Get with it or shut down.
Yeah. And like, who do they think they're kidding? We know we live in a country where these agencies have taken our tax dollars and built these enormous multi-billion-dollar data centers underground with like some sort of, I don't know, alien cooling core to keep all these billions of quadriflops of fucking data that they save. Like every little thing we do is saved and tracked and geo-tracked and categorized, and then they use that Palantir software to like, have like a 3D picture of anyone's life. Anyone with a digital device, they can just make like a 3D picture. They know your worldview. They know your kink. They know where you were on Thursday night here in the fucking boiler room, all that stuff. And yeah, even ham, you can't even be a ham radio operator and like make a transmission without, the proper like FCC license. You know what I mean? And if you do that enough times, someone's going to come knocking on your door. You know what I mean? It's just this whole like signature intelligence is one of the things that all militaries are top notch at. So yeah, don't give us this whole like we can't figure it out or we don't know what to do about it garbage. When you give that the general public realizes that it is indeed a psyop and that there are bigger things going on. But it's also a multi-pronged psyop. You know, it has other purposes, secondary and tertiary purposes.
Shut up. Yes. Yeah. My phone was spying on me right now, but
That's,
yeah,
you know,
Hesher, that was really well said. The grid, the overall grid, if you want to call it that, the total information awareness, the means to gather data on everyone and everything, speaks to what you said. That there are no, if they want to know, they know the origins, the identity, the intent, and the ability to know it all is there. So if they want to know, they know. And so when this kind of gaslighting goes on, this kind of psyop, like you say, it could be a harbinger of something else. My mom used to say, the original conspiracy theorist, when the big event or the strange event comes along, there's two things to do: look at it and look to see what it really is, or look the other way and try and look at what they're trying to get you not to look at. What are they trying to distract you from? See, there's two things: what is it and what isn't it? And you can define the things two-way. By negation, you can say, well, it isn't this and it isn't that. And then you can define things by a more proactive way. Well, if we know what it isn't, then we ought to know what it is. But also, you look at the event itself and you try and unravel it, but you also look the other way and go, okay, they're wanting to divert our attention away from something else. So let's do a 360 here. Let's look all the way around. Let's stop looking at the pretty lights in the sky for a while. You follow me?
Yeah, and I'm more on the second one, right? Because it's never there is never coincidence, right? There is always a plan, and there is always the destruction plan. So that's why you have to look at that second perspective. What are they trying to distract you from? And it works most of the time. That's a filter that works most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Weapons of mass distraction, I believe, something we've been
There you
talking
go.
about for a long time in more than one way.
If I may, there's an interesting parallel I'll share on UK Column tomorrow morning. If you go back to 1938, at the end of October, a young Orson Welles did the War of the Worlds radio broadcast. And there's some evidence, although maybe the evidence could be stronger, that they weren't just trying to be entertaining in some fascinating, unpredictable, unprecedented way, although it was that. It had that unusual entertainment element, bringing sci-fi to life like that and making it sound like there was almost a real Martian invasion. But there's a little bit of a trail of breadcrumbs that through Princeton University, Frank Stanton, who a few years later, after the 1938 broadcast, would become president of CBS. He was already a Council on Foreign Relations member. There's cursory evidence that the War of the Worlds, at least after it was aired, and maybe even the thinking went into it before it was aired, was done to test public reaction, to number one, to see what they would believe, make it just believable enough to where some people would think it's real, but it's still, there's a few disclaimers in there, although they were very brief and very relatively few. There was just enough there to show that, hey, this is fiction. It's part of the Mercury Theater on the Air series number 17, CBS News Radio, October 1938. But it started out with chamber music, orchestral music, and then the news would cut in, interrupting the normal broadcast of the music and make it sound like there really was a otherworld invasion. But what I'm getting at is the psychological effect. There seemed to be an element to it to test the fear element on people even before TV, when radio was at its height, at least the golden age of radio. So in other words, this, and it's interesting, although it may be not as interesting as I think. It's interesting that that was fictitiously a Martian invasion in New Jersey, and now the main concentration of drones is once again over New Jersey. Maybe I'm reaching on that one. Maybe I'm reaching too far or a little too hard, but it's an interesting parallel nevertheless. But psyops can have, and Infidel was saying, the distraction element is really important, and that's true. But there's also the testing what people will believe, recording their responses, telling them gaslit answers like, we, the government who knows everything about you, we can't figure this out. And how do we respond to such an absurd statement that they know isn't true and that they know that most of us know isn't true? You see what they do. It's mass psychology in 1938. It's mass psychology now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I,
yeah,
before I just want to go back to the whole like information collection that we're talking about. I know it's one of the things that Trump was pushing for, the digital Bill of Rights. And I wanna hear everybody's thoughts on this.
Well, what's in it? I don't have in my head what is actually in it.
Well, so what he's saying is, or what the opponent of this are saying, or is basically that the current constitution does not necessarily cover the current digital platforms, and there are gaps that we need to be addressing it through the digital Bill of Rights, right? Including your privacy, your freedom of speech online, and so on. So I wanted to hear.
I'll start. I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, and I like the idea of it. And my only thing is kind of like the getting rid of daylight savings. That's not really something I think that should be on the pointy edge of the spear going into the next administration. That is, again, like low hanging fruit until I were to see details of it. And in fact, it's a threat vector because we don't know who's going to be writing that thing. And there's still so many people on Capitol Hill who many would say have performed their duties poorly or even maybe broken the law. And these things need to be sorted out. And my list is as long as Santa's naughty list about who those people are, what they, how they behave, how they go about representing their constituents, and how they interact with their lobbyists and their donors. And that doesn't even get into just the flagrant, blatant criminal activity that we've seen from many of these characters in the information age, as we're all able to find these things out more readily than we used to be. It's harder to pull the wool over people's eyes, especially now. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with the introduction of all this confusion, right?
Anybody else take on this? Mark?
I'll admit I was briefly distracted by something that came up. Run that question by me one more time.
I was asking about thoughts on digital Bill of Rights that Trump has been talking about.
Oh, yeah. Before I got up and had to do something, I don't know much about it. I mean, it sounds good on the surface. What do you know about it in terms of details?
There is not much really in details, and I agree with Hesher, right? Is do we trust the people that are currently in charge to put something like this, right? Unless we get representative of actually the population itself, and I don't know how you can do this to actually put something that we know is not going to screw the people, because I do not trust any politician right now.
Yeah, like
I think the entire Congress is compromised.
Right. Like, is this a thing that's going to be drafted and approved by the same people that approved all this foreign money going to foreign wars? Is it going to be drafted and approved by the same people that allowed all the stuff to happen during 2020 and 2021 that has still not been made right, or the lies that the media has told us, and the censorship, the blatant, exposed factual censorship that is public knowledge across platforms, but most particularly with Twitter 1.0, Jack Dorsey's Twitter. We've covered that ad nauseum here. I won't get into that list either. It's as long as Santa Claus's nice list, maybe. I don't know which one's longer, Santa Claus.
The naughty list is longer.
I figured.
by a lot. But I think that the Bill of Rights is good. Having a set of rules, a standard, is probably easier to navigate than having no clear standard. Even if the standard's not great, we could all work around it and be like, okay, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. What we have now is ad hoc rules at random on every different platform that can change with the updated users agreement. And then they kick you off and they say, well, you signed, that's our policy. And I think that if we had even if it wasn't a particularly good digital Bill of Rights, as long as everyone had to play by the same rules, we could all be more confident we weren't going to get kicked off something at random.
Right. I agree with that. And it's like, that could be done, like, if we prioritize things properly, that could be done after people in the government and in intelligence and in military and in politics and in big tech who censored people are not allowed to be in positions where they can do that anymore. And it's looked at as to why they did that, how they did that, if that was actually legal. Like, once those people are not there making those decisions, I know that's a big Christmas ask, Santa.
It is a big ask. They have to be there to keep bombing Gaza.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? If I take them away, who's going to bomb Gaza?
I want you to uproot the war industrial imperialist deep state complex for Christmas. Is this possible?
But what would Americans do then? This is the problem. It really is a problem. What is America going to do if they can't? Americans go crazy if they don't have someone to bomb and someone to like. I mean, they really just go mental, We have to be bombing somebody.
Well, Mitch McConnell will like glitch up on stage, or somebody will take him behind a shed and hit him over the head and wrap a cartoon bandage around his head and wheel him out in front of a bunch of cameras to try and talk. I mean, something's going on there, man. This is getting weird.
Yeah.
Can we bomb aliens? Wouldn't that be an ideal solution here? We can just start bombing the space aliens, yeah?
Well, that was Ronald Reagan. He wanted to, he thought if we had an outside threat, humanity would all come together. And I'd like to think that there's enough in us that we could bomb aliens and each other. I'd like to think that we have the capacity, and I think we would. I think that's the thing that most sci-fi misses, is that in the event of an alien invasion, we would fight them and also kill each other.
That's what humans did all through history.
That's what makes. That's why we would beat the aliens. Every other alien is like peace and light. Every other species, and we're like, AK-47 to the face when they come down here. We got to be the most violent species in the universe by a margin, I would imagine.
Yeah. You hit on a good point, though. I think one of the tactics they always use to unify us is that common enemy, right? And the question is, who will be the common enemy now in this upcoming administration? If Trump is trying to normalize the relation with Russia, he's trying to end some foreign wars. Is it China?
God, I hope it's Canada. I hope he's talking. I hope it's talking.
I don't know, man. I'm really into making it the 51st
Listen,
state.
Do you know how close they put their military bases to our border? It is provocative in the extreme.
I think we should just take Canada under control, and it's
just
51st. It's so close to Alaska. Just take it.
I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Nothing.
And I know Cavi gets mad at me because he is in Canada, but he agrees they couldn't do anything. They have 60,000 people in their military, and most of those are girls.
I mean, the whole how many the whole population of Canada? What, 39 million or 40 million?
Yeah, it's less than California.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
take that.
Maybe Russia will come and take command of it, and then we'll be in an interesting situation.
Do you know? Do you know how corrupt Quebec is?
I've heard.
Trump has a
abilities.
duty to safeguard the rights of oppressed English speakers in the rebel province of Quebec.
Yeah, it's run by French Canadians. What are you expecting, dude?
Exactly. Canadian airspace has always been a vital national interest for decades. And, you know, I think that this is what has to be done.
All right. Well, we'll add that to the Boiler Room Christmas list. Canada as the 51st state. So look out, Canada. They're coming
Yes.
for you.
And the self-determination of English-speaking people in Quebec.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, about the digital Bill of Rights, I found an interesting web post. University of Nottingham, Taiwan Research Hub, go figure. But it says here that we, the people, have to rethink ways to preserve freedom in this new landscape of political economy where the big tech companies are the new too big to fail and even too big to be held accountable. From individuals to businesses, big and small, all the way to government agencies and international orgs, all by varying degrees depend on our daily operation on a mere handful of for-profit enterprises. This is the classic mistake of putting all the eggs in one basket when it comes to holding the basket accountable for the systemic damage to our democracy. We, the eggs, can only hope for the best. So it's making a reasonable case, you know, that we can't let big tech call the shots, and we have to combat what they call digital authoritarianism, characterized by increased surveillance and censorship, etc. So, you know, a digital Bill of Rights, if done right, probably would be a good thing for the reasons already stated, including by Santa Claus here.
Yeah.
No, I agree with this. And actually, Europe has been more proactive in actually doing more protection around privacy and so on. But the issue is they do this, and then you have unelected bureaucrats in Brussels putting rules on laws, right? So it's you take it away from private, but then you replace this with some other unelected bureaucrats, and
Yeah. And
you have to be careful of that too, right?
And yeah, the other problem with this whole concept is we're looking at it from a national lens. We're looking at it from an American lens, right? And the track record here of government intelligence agencies, corporate entities, technology, social media agencies, media agencies, has a abysmal record of allowing anything that goes against their narrative that they want the public to think to be out there. The amount of bullying, you know, like it's insane. It's insane how poor your record is, mass media cartel. It's insane how poor your record is, intelligence agencies. It's insane. You're literally running like black ops on our own soil. You know what I mean? Like, everybody sees it. There are culture wars being foisted on us. There's weapons of mass migration being foisted on us. There's our food supply is complete trash. There's this grand pandemic industrial complex that arrived in 2021, and these same people are now sitting there working on omnibus bills to like give that more gas, to give that more power, to take away the whole concept of what this digital Bill of Rights would be supposed to be. And then you zoom out from the country. So first off, you got a very bad landscape there in this regard, even though conceptually it's what we need if it were done right and in the framework of our actual Bill of Rights. But then zoom out and you see that there are anti-hate speech laws coming up everywhere, clampdowns on journalists, all the elections being canceled over social media campaigns. I think it was Romania, had their election halted and overturned over a freaking TikTok campaign. They had no evidence of tampering or anything like that. It's happening in multiple countries. And then Australia has one of these. New Zealand has one of these. The European Union has one of these. Canada has one of these. These globalist style online rights acts, or they'll use, wording like that. Online Safety Act. It's different country to country. And they're all about what you can and can't do online. And they're using words like hate speech, which really has no definition and is also antithetical to our actual Bill of Rights having any such law. So just the whole environment happening, it's like, great, rah, rah. In the conservative circles, we like seeing, of course, we all want to see stupid daylight savings go away. Of course, we all want to have our rights to freedom and digital equality on digital platforms and on the interwebs. Of course. Duh.
Can I ask, why are people mad at daylight savings time? I don't care either. I don't understand why people.
It hurts my body, man. The older I
it's
get,
nice
the
to
more
keep
like
people on their toes, like
my head. I feel like it's like something you do to your cult members. Like it's like what a cult leader would do. Like, I'm going to shift we used to have this cool 28-day calendar that made sense. We're going to use this new one. It's the Gregorian. And then come along, we're going to have these leap years, and we're going to have these daylight savings. We're going to tax all your income. I don't know. It feels like a chaotic,
well, yeah, like Mark said, I think anytime you start playing with time, you're cementing your authority. Like, I think that's what the shift to the Gregorian calendar was a little bit, and so forth and so on. Because if you could change time, you're really like King Canute, sort of commanding the waves, at least in Mirage.
Okay, well, now that you mentioned this, we should probably stop and look at Donnie for a minute here. Donald Trump, he what did he do with Jerusalem? He gave it to Israel or something like that, or let it be them capital. Now he's commanding time, actual time itself, Space Force, time and space. Maybe these are big, showy moves here. What do you think? It's Caesarian.
I think that's what he wants to be. Donald does mean world ruler in Germanic or whatever. I think he wants to be emperor. I think a lot of the populace wants him to be emperor. I think America is an empire in everything but name and needs to own up to it. I think it probably has to happen, and whether or not we want it to, that's the thing. I think it just it's like a machine. It has to reach its end point. But if we did change that savings time, where we're just going to split the middle, go 30 minutes one way or the other, 30, we jump forward 30 minutes and then we stop.
No, you just go back to after.
But which one is the normal one? Is it now the normal time, or is that who knows?
That's what's being argued right now, Sumo. Is they're like, well, so there's people who are saying it should be the standard time. There are people saying we should keep daylight time all the time.
Which is which? Are we in daylight savings time now, or are we out of it?
I think we're out.
We are in standard time right now. So if
this is the standard.
If they were to choose this as the standard time, this is the time it would be. So basically, this is how time used to be before they introduced the daylight savings time.
Yes and no. Yes and no. For a while we didn't have. I want to go back to before we had time zones. Everyone had. The only time it actually makes sense is noon is when the sun is over your head. That's the only time.
I got you. All right.
Every other time is not really noon.
Sundials on our wrist.
But I say, we just split the difference. We go 30 minutes ahead of standard time and just call it. There we go. We just stay there.
All right. That's a good compromise.
People get anything done together. They can't sync their watches. Would they yell at each other like, "What time you got over there, Bill?"
Yeah, well, what keeps you in the capitalist machine is their ability to ask you to be somewhere on time, quote unquote. If we didn't have clocks, it would all break down.
Yep.
Clocks is the ultimate mind control.
Oh, I've thought about that quite a bit. I think anyone who's ever done psychedelics has probably thought about that.
The only real clock is the sky. The sun gives you your day. That's your days and your hour. And then the stars give you your month. or your year, and the moon gives you your month or your month. That's where it comes from.
But when
The
the government comes along and all of a sudden just adds or removes one of those, in a jolting way as the season's making its own, natural phases in that way, it just feels like, that like one of those shocks to the system. It's like it's time for your, bi-yearly system shock, and your mental clock, guys. Here you go, boom. And when you're a kid, it's like, whatever, oh dang, I gotta get up and it's dark, or I gotta go home early. But the older you get, the more you're just like, oh, whoa, that was kind of like a bit of a gut punch this year.
Well, Hesher, there's an old saying, a straight line is a godless line. In nature, most things are not a straight line. The tree branches and animals are all curved. And the making time zones and time like standard across and clocks is really the first step of digitization and applying a grid on the natural world to subdivide it into square blocks that we can more easily control, or to give the illusion of control, and therefore take us out of the realm of what is natural and God made. Right. And so really, we've been on a long march toward the artificial reality ever since we invented the clock.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we know, especially judging by our green room conversation, we are actually existing inside of a Roblox server right now, or a Minecraft server.
But Santa, you live in the North Pole. You're
where
like
there is no time. Correct.
In the
Thank
winter,
you.
you're in freaking night for like 4 months. What are you talking about, dude?
Look, Infidel.
How are you going to find the sun?
There's no time zones. This is where they all converge. I can be anytime. I can be at any time. There's no time for me.
Unless
the land
maybe you have a camera.
The eternal day and the eternal night.
I think we should all move there. I like what he just said. I want to live there.
Yeah, this sounds good. There must be something in the water.
Whichever way you're facing would be whatever time you want to choose.
Everywhere is south to me.
What temperature is it there? Out of curiosity.
It's cold.
Yeah, I'll pass. Thanks.
It's a cold temperature. But you get used to it. It's really one of those things, like people in Winnipeg wear Crocs sometimes, It's one of those things you just adapt.
It's colder than a designer nipple in a brass bra.
It makes you smarter. If you live somewhere near the equator, you don't have to plan for the future. There's always a coconut. But up here, you got to really store your candy away, or it goes.
Stop being racist, Santa Claus. Stop being racist and think about close to the equator or north.
I give presents to all the world's children, all the girls and boys of all the colors.
Okay.
I have dreidels for people in Israel. I have coconuts for people in Brazil. I've got, grass skirts for every child in Africa. I've got all of the things covered.
Good.
All right.
Nothing's racist about any of that.
Speaking about omnibus bills, did you guys see what they hid in this last one that Johnson was about to pass?
Oh, man.
They wanted to they have money to develop pathogens.
Yeah, his Christmas list. Yeah, his Christmas list was pretty grim, dude.
I know, dude. So they had money to develop like pathogens to counter, like basically for highly contagious pathogens.
Yeah.
And their rules was like it has to be in non-adversarial countries. I'm like, what the actual F? Like we as if we didn't learn anything from like the labs in Ukraine.
And the other thing is they already have loads of those. They already have loads of these things. We've had a frequent guest on Sunday Wire. She's probably been on 5 or 6 times. Dilyana Gitanyeva. She's a journalist from that region, and she's done some amazing writing about this topic and where, all the different countries that have these labs in them. It's really brilliant journalism that she's done. And like for anyone that, thinks there's, that this is a new thing, like your tax dollars are already being spent on like 28 of these labs in like 12 different countries or 25 different countries or something like that.
Including China.
Yeah, including China. Yeah, and multiple places in China, and then just all over the place. It's bananas, and there's no clarity on what they actually do, any of that, and it just leaves this whole open threat, threat vector. And it also leaves a huge open propaganda vector, back to scaring people into giving up their rights. So, yeah, very disturbing, Infidel. To get back to your question, very disturbing to see that guy, to see Johnson and all those people trying to cram all that, that kind of stuff into that bill. Just ridiculous.
Crazy.
All these like weird Hail
1,500
Mary
pages.
moves by the
1,500 pages.
yeah, dude. What the hell? And that was the continuing resolution funding, the one that makes the government shut down if they don't pass
Yep.
it, right?
That bullshit that happens every fucking year at the end of the damn year.
Right.
I'm like, people are just sick of this shit.
No, I
You're
mean,
talking about the debt ceiling thing?
yeah, that's the yep. The debt
The
ceiling.
omnibus spending bill they tried to just pass.
Well, see, here's the reality. In Washington, they have what's called the Wright-Patman room 2128 in the Sam Rayburn building, the House building. And that's where the banking committee has met for decades, generations. And a congressman from Texas named Wright-Patman, in a famous exchange with the head of the Federal Reserve at that time, Mariner Eccles, Wright-Patman said, "So you mean to tell me, Mr. Eccles, that if there's no debt, there's no money?" And Mr. Eccles said, "Most assuredly, if the government didn't deficit spend, there'd be no money." See,
Yeah.
so
Oh, that's so. I've been saying that for so long. I'm sorry. Keep going.
well, it's an all borrowed money supply. We get on bended knee to the international banking fraternity, and we ask them for money we could produce ourselves interest free. So naturally, there's going to be a debt system. Well, where there's a debt system, there's a debt ceiling, at least theoretically. And they'll go through this dog and pony show about, well, we can't go over the debt ceiling, but they have to get in debt to have money to spend, to create and spend into the economy and have a budget and make the machine work. So by definition, they have to go into debt to get any money at all. So all the talk about, well, we have to have this restraint, observe the debt ceiling is just, it's just prevaricating is what it is. It's not real. At the end, they always acquiesce and say, well, we have to just keep doing what we're doing and keep running up the so-called national debt, which is in a way fictitious, because you don't really, I mean, they make these payments on the interest only on the national debt every year. They're never going to touch the principal, meaning that it's unpayable. Well, it's not only unpayable, but it was arrived at under fraud and under false pretenses. Therefore, any proper government would repudiate most of the debt, except for maybe small bondholders, people with savings bonds. So the whole thing is just a pretense, is what it is. What they don't tell you is for the system to work and not fall flat on its face, they have to incur debt all the time, unavoidable, inevitable. That's the way it is. That's what they won't tell you.
Yeah, debt is money. Money is debt. It's people say we have a fiat currency backed by nothing. It's backed by debt. What you're doing, all of the money. That's why we have to be at war with Ukraine. We have to, because we have to give them money that they have to pay back, because someone has to be in debt for us to print new money. That's why they have to have mortgages. You have to have insurance debt. It all has to be, the debt has to keep going up so you can keep making money. There's no other way. And that's
exactly. Everything is based on debt or predicated on debt. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you're selling the future, which is why eventually it has to stop. But who knows how much future we can sell? We may can sell a lot of future. I don't know. It may keep going for a while.
But that's right. You mortgage the future to live in the present. That's right.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, you really can't. That's why I think, there's no way, like you were saying, there's no way out of that, because the money, and they do sort of tell you, like, a note is a dollar bill. A note is like legalese for like an IOU. It's every dollar is like a bill. But yeah, there's no way out of that. And the only thing that can but the thing is, people think you got to pay off your debt. It's also not real for you either. Have you guys ever tried not paying your credit card bill? Nothing really happens. I mean, people think something bad happens. You get your number on a screen goes down, but you got the other number on the screen that went up because you charged the credit card. So it's all a balance.
Yes.
Try it, guys. If you listen to me, if you're in debt to Visa, just forget about it. What are they going to do? Seriously, what are they going to do?
No, Santa's giving us a gift here. He doesn't just give you like a rocking horse or like a new baseball with Mickey Mantle's name on it. He's giving us wisdom here. So that's basically right.
I mean, the police can't get involved in it. There's no debtor's prison. They just call you angrily and say, pay, and you go, no. And you hang up.
Yeah, you can say all sorts of things. You're looking for this guy by the name of whomever. You could say, I understand he's dead. You could just say anything.
Yeah.
Along with the word, no, I'm not going to pay it. You could also say, well, I understand he's deceased. Talk about the person they're looking for. They think it's you. Talk about that person in the third person.
Yeah.
And
eventually it just goes away.
Mark Anderson. Well, he's deceased.
And you can't pay those credit repair companies do actually work sometimes. You just ignore them, and then your credit tanks, and you give some guy $400, and then it goes up again. And that's how the world goes round. That's how they do it at the big leagues.
All right, so there you go. There's a big Christmas gift for you on behalf of the Boiler Room here via Sumo. If you thought you were on the naughty list for such behaviors, guess what? You are back in presence this year. He will be coming.
That's right, man. There's no moral obligation to repay Visa. I mean, they understand that too. They're not insulted. They're just like, yeah, okay.
well, isn't this how funny we keep talking about social score and digital, currencies, and they already got us to buy into this whole score system, right?
We're basically already on them. I mean,
exactly, we're already in it, right? And everybody is monitoring their credit scores, and everybody's. You don't pay a bill 1 month and you're just screwed, right?
It is your social credit score, is what you're saying. Yeah. Like they just took your credit score and added the word social in front of it because then it's convenient to abuse you and treat you like a serf because of how you act and think and speak socially. And guess what? Where does that word social usually attach to? Social media. There we go again. And then we get back to that Bill of Rights. It's like, yes, we want a Bill of Rights where we can have free speech on social media. And no, we don't want social credit the way they have it in China, because we've already seen that what you've done with your own version of it, and you just called it a credit score and stuck it to the fake debt system that Mark and Santa Claus were just talking about.
Does anyone know their credit score offhand?
No.
I don't. It's been a while. I think mine was getting pretty low, to be honest. Because, but I don't. But you know what? It doesn't. You can always find a different bank to give you a credit card.
Kids, don't listen to financial advice from Santa, please. Just ignore Santa's financial advice.
Santa Claus is not a legal professional, and he's not a financial advisor.
Boiler Room is actually a financial advice podcast legally, and everything.
Not endorsed by Alternate Current Radio in the Boiler Room at this point.
It is endorsed. Everything is all opinions expressed are those of the broadcast studio.
No,
shared by everyone on the board.
There's a reason why Santa Claus was banished to North Pole. Because
I gotta be honest, guys. I've been at the North Pole for so long, and living on milk and cookies, I don't really know how.
That's why you have to That's why they kicked you out there, because you had shitty credit.
Oh, so living in the North Pole is exile. You didn't say that. Okay, but still, you're dealing with it well. Like you say, eat milk and cookies, and forget about visa. Tell them to pound sand, and yeah, live happily ever after.
Well, Mark, have you heard of the Anita muscaria mushroom? The little red one with the white spots.
Like Alice. Alice.
I'm going to say no.
Well, it turns out that those grow in Europe around like Finland and Germany. And if you eat them, you die because it's too poisonous. But if reindeer eat them, caribou, and you drink their urine, you get a fantastic high. So you got the red and the white, and who lives in a red and white toadstool but elves, right? They live there and then you have the vehicle, which is the reindeer, takes you to the North Pole through the sky, sort of, metaphorically speaking. I've always wondered if those are connected. And I think pointing that out is why I got exiled and also why I don't pay visa.
All right, that explains a lot.
Tell them to pound snow, not sand. In your case,
yeah, you say pound snow.
Pound snow.
And honestly,
Don't say this to Hunter
relevance.
Biden, please. Don't say this to Hunter Biden.
Look at Hunter. What a guy. Got off on everything.
Pounding snow all day long.
Yeah.
Pounding snow all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want legal or financial advice, turn to ACR Radio. Everything can be taken as that, I think.
Yeah, no. All right. Let's round out this whole thing with the drones. Let's just go around the room real quick here and let everyone say their final piece on this drone thing, and we'll dismiss it and flush it down the can as the multi-pronged psyop that it is for now. Mark, you got your hand up. You're in.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd love to own one and contribute to the mystery.
Yeah, can I get one?
Yeah, that's my real problem. Is I'm not part of it. I'm nervous that I see a fight that I'm not in.
I feel left out.
Yeah, I feel left out. But all kidding aside, even though I'd like to fly one. Real quick story. Bilderberg 2014, 10 years ago, a guy I know named Veet, who started the country Liberland, that little mini state. Well, I happen to know Veet. He told me he was going to bring a drone to Bilderberg 2014 in Copenhagen, Denmark. He did. As soon as it took off into the air, it didn't even get 20, 30 feet up. They arrested him.
Yeah.
And I was looking for him that day. I found him the next morning, and he was a little angry with me because I'm the one that cajoled him or convinced him to bring his drone, maybe expensive, I don't know, to Bilderberg, and they confiscated it and put him in the can overnight. So an interesting little sidebar, just mentioning it. But all things considered, it's set up for a multi-pronged psyop. If they want to know where they came from, who they belong to, and what they're doing up there, they have every means of determining that. So you can't believe their denials. It's only a question of why the psyop and what's the purpose of this. It's probably more than one reason, and things like that. That I guess I'll leave it at that. But Mr. and Mrs. America, you have to realize that the mass media cartel, and this is the key point, is upholding the psyop. You'll notice that they just sort of in a casual, sort of offhanded way, just keep calling it the drone mystery, and they keep retailing and kind of like a stenographer, just writing down what these bureaucrats and kleptocrats and intellicrats say. And we're mystified. We're not sure. It's a mystery, and they just keep relaying and thickening and circulating this idea that the government, with all these intelligence tentacles everywhere in the world, in low places, in high places, in all places, is now suddenly baffled, much like the yarn of that balloon that washed across the U.S. a couple of years ago. What a complete and total fakery that was. I mean, balloons are slow and relatively low in altitude. And if these drones were a threat from some other alien or foreign source, the Air Force has every means to blow them out of the sky. And if they're a threat, then blow them out of the sky and shut up and go home. You know what I mean? It's staggering the techniques and tactics they use to try and stir our brains with fakery and ambiguity, etc.
Well, they're obviously meant to be seen because otherwise they wouldn't put all those lights on them. So they want people to see them and react. Right. Yeah.
The action is in the reaction.
The action's in the reaction. Yeah, who's doing it? I don't know. It's kind of. Do you think people? One thing I noticed is people are a lot more willing to report a drone sighting, because if you think about it, really, most people are seeing is a light in the sky, which could be anything. People assume it's drones, and a lot of times, but it could. And people in the past would see a light in the sky and be like, "Oh, maybe that's a UFO." I don't want to tell the police that because then I'm a crazy person. But if you have this like practical explanation, then you can go to the police readily. I think that may be what's partly driving the hysteria, is that people feel comfortable reporting what is essentially a UFO because it can be plausibly determined to be something sane, which is a drone.
Right. Let's see here. Going to share this tab right here over at alternatecurrentradio.com. Ruckus's input on that you can find on the Daily Ruckus, alternatecurrentradio.com, and just go to podcasts and Daily Ruckus, or find him on any of our streams. He's gone in depth about this. The shows have been excellent lately, Ruckus. Thanks for everything you're doing. The archive is looking really fancy right now across the website.
Does anyone else find Ruckus kind of spooky?
Spooky. Well, it's spooky that he's disappeared like a ghost.
I know. Where the heck did he go?
He just, I don't know. I think like he would be a really good like murderer in a horror movie. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Mark, I know you got to get out of here, dude. If you're still there, you want to say, okay, Ruckus is on a smoke break. Okay, Mark, we'll let you go, man. I know you got to get out of here. Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging with us tonight and going through these wild times with us. And we'll do one more show, Mark. So if you want, next Thursday, there'll be one more show for 2024. So open invite to all our boiler roomers, yourself included, of course. Thanks for being here tonight. Tell people where to find you, and we'll let you go. You're muted there, my friend.
Yep. See you, Santa.
Bye, Mark. You good little boy.
All right, there goes Mark Anderson. I'll tell you where you can find him. You can find him on UK Columns on Fridays, ukcolumn.org. You can find him at Republic Broadcast Network doing Stop the Presses, and thetruthhound.com, and here in the boiler room frequently. Thanks for being with us here tonight, Mark. Yeah, so where's that leave us? I guess Infidel, what about you? Ruckus is back. Ruckus, do you want to shout out the best episode for people to go to? I don't even know if he has his ears on yet. Let's see here. Can you hear me, Ruckus? I don't hear you.
Hey, question. In the chat, is creative accidents, Mark?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but they were acting like creative accidents was confusing me.
There we go.
Stop it, creative.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for the shout out. I actually
didn't misgender you.
Oh, you can hear me?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I hear you. I'm sorry. I was arguing with someone about their gender.
That's okay. Just start with the part one of my new series that I started, 12 Days of Ruckus. That's where I address the drones. Because on the first day of Ruckus, on the first day of Christmas, Ruckus gave to you all a bunch of drones in New Jersey. So you can sing it to the tune of the 12 Days of Christmas. And then on day 2, part 2, if you're interested, two hurtful drugs and a bunch of drones in New Jersey. But I don't address the drones in part 2. Obviously, part 2 is about drugs. But yes, part 1, there's lots of psyops. It's psyops upon psyops. It's like pick your psyop. It's like the wheel of psyops. It's like a game show. It's like there's a psyop for every flavor, every person out there. We had the traditional boomers with their Iranian mothership. The Van Drew guy, that one was ridiculous to me.
Yeah, man, that was
absolutely ridiculous.
That was fun. That was fun.
And then we've had a number of these different. We had the radar guy come on the scene, and he's like, "Oh, they're sniffing for gamma rays." We had another guy say, "Oh no, they're looking for a lost warhead." Oh, by the way, yeah, we lost like 80 nukes. No big deal, everybody. But we know one of them's in America. It's all good. So we got like Alex Jones interviewing what's that dude's name with the fake alien invasion baloney?
Yeah,
from Forbidden Knowledge, right? What's his name? I forget his name.
I think we played that clip last week.
Yeah. So you have all of that going on. And then what Mark was talking about, I played that clip of Donald Trump, how he literally came out. I mean, the reporters asked him, "What do you think about the drone situation?" And he was like, he laughed at it. I mean, he looked like he could have been hanging out with us. Like he looked like how we would have reacted to it. It was hilarious. And then he made a joke at the end, which I thought was pretty funny. He was like, because there's been reports that they were flying over his Bedminster golf course. So he says, "I think I'm not going to visit Bedminster for a little while." You know, so it's all like nobody knows. But the thing is, the president-elect Donald Trump, I hate to say it, he's right. Like the government knows what these are. It's more frightening to think that the government doesn't know what they are. For instance, there was this funny clip that I played on my show where there was a TikToker responding to the Van Drew guy who was trying to convince everyone that they were Iranian like the drones. Like who's going to believe that crap? You know what I mean? It's I don't know, man. But ultimately, I think that the drones came at a time related to right around the same time as the UFO craze, and I think that that they're not related. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing I would like to add to this conversation was something I was discussing with somebody earlier this evening. It might have been somebody in the green room discussion, but I think it was actually on a call earlier today in the Cuddle chat. How the drones now. They're already the FAA has started to ground drones now. I think it was Whitebird who might have brought this up, but now there's going to be like you're going to have a license and jump through more fancy hoops to own drones if we're going to be allowed to own drones at all. This could be a giant psyop to take away the privilege of us being able to fly drones, which are very useful for certain things. This is kind of like not allowing us to film the cops, kind of a thing.
100%.
So there's always that psyop kind of thing. So there's a lot to it. But yeah, they're certainly not aliens. They're not mysterious. And yes, everybody noticed right away. Why the F are they flying around with the standard red and green lights? Unless it's to celebrate Christmas, of course, which is always a possibility. I don't know. Santa, do you know anything? Do they have the red and green lights simply because it's Christmas time? Will they change?
Is it your sleigh?
Well, I mean, why do you think red and green were chosen by the FAA to begin with? I asked them that so that my normal lights on my sleigh would be FAA compliant at the beginning. This was way back in the 1940s.
All right,
makes sense.
Yeah. Now,
in a serious question way, I've been noodling this with psyops. And it may be a thing that we could try, but I don't. How much of psyops are intentional and how much are organically grown by the public? Because, for example, I was talking earlier in the green room about my issues with eclipses and how if the sun's rays are parallel, which they're supposed to be, that's why polarized glasses work and other things. Then the moon's shadow should be the same size as the moon on the Earth in the eclipse instead of like 30 miles across or some ridiculously small size. And it can't be the explanation that the sun is so big because the sun is not. It is big, but it's very far away. So far away, in fact, that it's the same apparent size as the moon. So that doesn't make any sense. So when you argue with people with this, what happens? It doesn't appear to be a coordinated answer. But rather people don't know, and they all land on the same inventions of an answer, And they say, and then you say, well, that doesn't work. And they get mad at you. And so how much of PSYOPs are organically people trying to avoid the pain of not knowing something? And how much of it is directed from top down? And I think we could do an experiment on this and try to make our own organic grassroots PSYOP. Like, for example, I have for years wanted to fake a Bigfoot print and leave it in a local park and just see if a mythology developed around it. And I think it probably would. I think people have actually done that before. And then people come out of the woodwork and say, I saw it over there. And then they'd be on podcasts about it. And 10 years from now, they'd be on a show about how they encountered Bigfoot. And you would know that it was just you. And then you'd say, well, how much has this happened with everything in the world that has ever existed? And I don't know.
The hole. Somebody remember some people dug a big hole on the beach, and the next day somebody discovered it, and he was like, "Oh my god, an asteroid landed!" And then the news media came out, and then like the people were laughing. They're like, "No, that was us. We just dug a hole." It was effing great.
Yep.
Yeah. We could fake any. I mean, Bigfoot, an asteroid impact. I don't know what. But maybe just as a social experiment, or you always call it an art project.
Well, we've got
could we just take off and see where it goes? I don't know.
We've got the mainstream media pretty much doing it for us. I think all these categories, they're out there making their own. They may not be thinking of it as a psyop, but a lot of things most of the things they're doing out there basically fall into that category.
Yeah,
I do actually believe.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sumo. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, in a real way, I think the transgenderism thing is sort of a 4chan psyop. That's where they started it. They started like memeing all this, and then people just took it seriously.
Well, dude, we've seen so many, like, they used to be called, like, back when we first started noticing it, they used to be called alt-right, like, psyops, and they were all from 4chan. Like, even a lot of the culture war stuff, a lot of the woke stuff, like, it was all, I'm starting to think it's not just, in all likelihood, in all reality, there is a percentage of users on that system that are there doing intentional things like that. But the crazy thing is like, we're living in this, I would say, to answer your original question, we're in this like bell curve of that. It's almost like the trolling bell curve. The trolling bell curve has gotten to the point, along with the wokeism and the culture engineering, to the point where it's self-replicating, whereas before it was like seeded. So it's like seeded for a certain amount, watered for a certain amount, and then all of a sudden it becomes self-replicating. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing.
Yeah, because if you notice, like in the whenever something happens, if it's something that benefits a right narrative, the left seemingly organically comes up with all these conspiracy theories about it that then they take as fact, and vice versa the other way. And it's like, how much of this is seeded? And I'm trying to figure out how much of this is seeded and how much are we just generating through our own nonsense as a collective. And I don't know.
I think it's an ongoing escalating number. I think it's mushroom clouding.
I think you're right. I think we're running away to escape velocity.
Yeah, dude.
With self-generated psyops.
We've gone nuclear.
Yeah,
I think it's all planned and involves very subtle, complicated 7D chess nudging, societal engineering. The outcomes that are grown organically are organic growths, but the environment, the algae that they're growing out of was designed to create this outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah, could be.
It's like a Sid Meier's game. Sorry, Infidel, real quick. Have any of you guys ever played Sid Meier's Civilization?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost like, or watched Battlestar Galactica, the newer one. It's like that seems to be one of the themes when it comes to technocracy, is like society hits a certain point where we're all connected somehow, aka the internet, and all of a sudden next comes biotech, next comes robotech, next comes nanotech, next comes gene editing, next comes artificial intelligence. They all become a thing. And when you play this game, it's like you start with like tribal people, and you got to like war other tribes and stuff, and then all of a sudden they turn into farming people, and they still got to have a military to defend themselves, and then they come these cities, and like you either reach escape velocity and you leave, cue Elon Musk here, because that's his whole thing, right? Make X everything and go off to Mars and accept that we're all fucked here, It's the same with Sid Meier's. The other option is you get nuked and you blow up and you die and you have to start your civilization over again from stone.
Yeah.
So like, is that the whole point with technocracy? Like there's no avoiding it. Cause like I tried to write out like, a list of things that are like secondarily and tertiarily accomplished by this whole drone psyop. And you guys have covered pretty much most of them. But in my tertiary objective, I said, trauma-based mind control on the public to achieve predictive programming for the coming huge paradigm shift that will be about drones, robotics, AI, nanotech, biotech, surveillance, etc.
Yeah, that
Maybe
seems
Doge.
most likely to me.
Doge will suggest replacing the police force with drones.
Yeah. Dude, we just watched the new Megan Fox movie recently, and it's all like it's not great, but the whole like underlying context of the movie is that the main character is like a foreman at construction on a building, and he's there the day that the owners come and tell him that we're firing your team that you've been working with, these people you've been working with for a decade, and we're replacing them with bots. And the whole thing revolves around that, while at the same time he gets a maid or a sex bot, or I don't know, your virtual house assistant, a nanny, if you will, that goes crazy and all this stuff. But it's like there's nothing fantastic about the movie really, but the whole premise is like, it gives you one little window, one little glimpse into like what the disruption of an entire industry forever and a massive instant paradigm shift can happen.
Well, there was one fantastic thing, which was her nipples.
Augmented, definitely designer, right?
Yeah.
She's had three kids on her way to the fourth. Those are designer ones for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting movie, Subservient.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the drone thing first before.
Give us your wind up on that.
Well, I just want to say, because you guys were talking about like the self-made side, and actually I do believe this whole drone thing is actually might be a people made up psyop, or at least part of it, right? We played in the last episode. You remember that video of that reporter standing there and pointing at a freaking plane and saying that's a drone, right? And there is a lot of shit like that, right? So I think big part of this is actually social media amplifying that whole story that people just start making shit up to.
Did you see the Halo ship? Somebody AI'd the Halo ship over a like American city, and they're like, "Look at this drone, guys!" All these people start resharing it. Oh my god, look at this one! It's the size of an SUV. It's like, no, I remember flying that thing in Halo. Sorry, guys.
I know, and again, we're living in a world right now where you very soon with AI generated videos, you're not going to be able to know the difference. What is really real and what's
I don't think
not.
you can know now. I think as a people, we need to just accept that video is no longer any form of evidence of anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. You still like you still there are some signs that you're able to detect, but very soon, like next year, I think that mark is gonna be gone.
Well, I mean,
you cannot trust any video as evidence whatsoever.
You can with the ones that are publicly available, but there may be ones privately available that are very hard to detect.
Yeah, like the ones
if you take one,
the ones the governments and film studios are using right now, like they can bring Princess Leia back from the dead, or they can make Gary Oldman young again, or shit like that. Like those you can't really tell. Like if you didn't know that person was dead or already existed and got old, you'd have no idea.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's very, especially a still photo. A still photo is no evidence of anything ever at this point.
But guys, we're only like months away probably from those same tools of that quality being available at the consumer level. So what happens then?
Well, what happens then is your reality.
I start making Infidel Pharaoh porn with my AI and his big juicy nipples that we.
You're gonna start an OnlyFans for IP?
Yes, for him. I will
Infidel
share
Pharaoh.
the income with you, Infidel. Don't worry.
Okay.
So you are going to be a naughty boy.
As long as we hit that 30 million mark, I'm okay with sharing.
Okay.
No, but it's actually, to your point, it's going to change reality. Like,
Yeah.
it's no longer you can go browse videos and look at nature and know is it really or real or not. And the sad thing is the new generation that are growing up right now, right? That's going to be the first videos they are going to see will be past that point we're talking about. Now they have no frame of reference whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of consequences that I don't think people have thought about that we're going to start figuring out when this actually get more real, as this gets more advanced. But I think a lot of the wonder and a lot of the is going to go away. And the reality of actually of life around people, especially now with people forced to live in the digital realm. Now, no longer you can look at a video of a trip or a video of an animal somewhere and if it's real or not, right? They will be creating a mystical animal that and you have no idea if that animal exists or not, right? It's a new species.
I'm super serial, you guys. Man, bear, pig is so real.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Pepper
I
Pig.
think South Park was way ahead of that. But it's gonna be an interesting time. It's gonna be interesting time, really, to see how we are going to react to this as a collective species,
There
and
may
see how
be
the new
only
generations will take it.
the only solution, seriously, may be a new iconoclastic religion that just does not truck with any images at all. Like anything that's any image, we do not believe. We
Oh,
believe
well,
no images.
I think you need to go join Al Qaeda.
Well, look, have they only done bad? They've probably done some good.
Yeah, I mean, the CIA is going to create a new branch.
Yeah,
maybe they will rebrand Al Qaeda.
Yeah, no one is all bad.
So yeah, I think they already did, man. They're sitting in Syria rebranded right now. So fundamentally, though, what we're looking at here is a fundamental problem of we've become addicted to getting information through all the screens, and up until very recently, what we there was some with a discerning eye, there was some ability to get a mental picture, that could go along with information coming from faraway places, right? Like it was the magic of the World Wide Web, right? That's what we're promised. That's what we were sold. That and free communication globally, right? It's supposed to be the cool part of being a more global species. But now they unleash all this AI, and we're going to get to a point as these tools develop where any image anyone sees on a screen, they'll never be able to trust, including video footage and audio footage and music and voice. Like it's all like the AI is learning all these things right now, and it can reproduce by text prompt. It can reproduce its version of symphonies, its version of whatever song and over whatever topic you want to make or whatever video. So we get to a point where it's like, well, when we have something on the screen that it's imperative that we understand if it's real or not, who's behind the switches, who's the arbiter of yes, it's real, or no, it's deep fake, and can we trust them in perpetuity?
And this is why
I don't know if you can trust them. That's the issue. And as you say, this is why I'm saying that there will be a fundamental shift. Like I when I travel, right, or before I travel to somewhere, I go start looking for videos because this is how I made my I want to go see that. That was that place. Right now, you're not going to be able to know if it's real or not.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead,
have a hard enough time on hotels.com looking at the pictures of the freaking hotels or Airbnb and then getting there and discovering, oh, it's actually a garbage dump. The
Yeah.
pictures were really nice, though.
You know, to your earlier point in the green room, Infidel, or maybe after, this is why you should be long on Bitcoin. Because blockchain technology is a potential answer for, because you could show a chain of custody of the image that existed to the original recording device. And each device could have a wallet, right, that came with it and manufactured. And so any image would be put in the blockchain that was recorded on there and have a unique identifier that you could then say, this was actually recorded by this device or something like that. That is a potential use case for blockchain for verifying image verification.
Yeah. I mean, I personally actually thought about like creating some kind of like actually foundry where it can be more of and I looked at some IP around it, like of to be able to verify images as a way for you to verify images. But I agree with you. So, but still, that does not say that that image has not even been altered on that device, right? It just more of pointing to the origin of it, right?
Yeah, you could at least trace the origin of it. Yeah.
Correct. It's more of like verifying the ownership of it more than anything. But also art, right? That's the other thing, because Hesher mentioned that, right? Art, right? You can see the pictures I generated right now, right? That's through text prompt, right? Give me a muscular pharaoh wearing a Santa suit with an American flag in the background, and here you go, right?
Bingo.
Right.
So
that was what
is
he
the
asked
impact?
for his Christmas present as well, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, what is the impact of this on art? And the interesting things is now there are. Do you want to get into the whole OpenAI whistleblower?
Yeah. Tell us.
thing?
We were going to talk about that last week, but we ran out of time. Yeah, give us the scoop on this one.
Well, I think let me try to remember actually. So there was a guy that was working in OpenAI, one of the engineers there. He came out, I believe, a couple of years ago, speaking against them using copyrighted material and the impact of OpenAI on copyrighted material. Yeah, thank you. And basically he was found out dead last week in his apartment. But the point why I brought this was actually more around the copyrighted material, right? Because all of those models, this image that you're seeing in front of you right now, nothing more than a collection of other material, copyrighted material that they just collected throughout the web, right? So is that creation itself a violation of that copyrighted material or not, right? So it's that's another dilemma I think we're going to start facing with those generative models, and especially when it comes to art, music, and images and videos.
Yeah. And it's way too meta for a court to figure out.
You can't, right?
Possibly.
Nobody knows how it created that image.
Yeah.
Right. That's the issue with those models, is it's nobody knows how it works, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah. So it's I don't know. I think there is some interesting alignment that's going to happen in that domain next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
All
You
right,
want to say something, Hesher?
So out of BBC here, for anyone who's not familiar with this, so this is mainstream's take, of course. So they're going to give you their version. OpenAI researcher turned whistleblower has been found dead in an apartment in San Francisco. The body of Suchir Balaji, age 26, was discovered on the 26th of November after police said they received a call asking officers to check on his well-being. San Francisco Medical Examiner's Office determined his death to be suicide, and the police found no evidence of foul play. In recent months, Mr. Balaji had publicly spoken out against artificial intelligence company OpenAI's practices, which has been fighting a number of lawsuits relating to its data gathering practices. In October, the New York Times published an interview with Mr. Balaji in which he alleged that OpenAI had violated U.S. copyright law while developing its popular Chat GPT online chatbot. Yeah, obviously. And that's how AI works. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It's a learning model, but, okay, still, the rabbit hole remains open. Trained on publicly available data. So he left the company in August, telling the New York Times he had since been working on personal projects. Grew up in Cupertino, shout out Cupertino, California, before going to study computer science at the University of California, Berkeley. Yeah, so I don't know. It's got a lot of people asking questions. I know that much. And the other thing I'm find noteworthy about it is the timing, because earlier this year, I don't even think it was that many weeks back, we were talking about how OpenAI's ethics roundtable or board disbanded.
Yep.
And Altman was out and then back in. Like, some weird things have been happening. And then, most recently he's on the podcast circuit talking to, all the big guys, Rogan and stuff.
Didn't he rape his sister?
Who, Altman?
Wasn't that like she accused him of like sexually assaulting her as a child?
I've never heard that. I don't know if there's an accusation out there or not.
I may have just made that up, and I'm sorry to Sam Altman if I accused him of rape, incestual rape. But I remember that. I pretty much that he was at least accused of that by a sibling. But that may be totally something. I'm sorry, Sam, if I accused you of incestuous rape unnecessarily.
We're just more questioning if there's an allegation out there that I hadn't heard about yet. But yeah, so there's I'm looking it up right now. If there is, it's not on the first page of searches. I can tell you that.
Sam Altman.
But I mean, if you were in control of all AI on the internet, you can bet your name wouldn't show up in those searches either, right?
Right. Yeah. Altman's sister, Annie, wrote a message on Twitter accusing him of sexual, physical, emotional, verbal, and financial abuse.
Oh, interesting. Okay, there you go.
AI not available for this search.
Oh, of course.
That's what it says before. But his Wikipedia does bring this up. Now, that was just she alleged that things happen. I don't know if they really did.
Yeah.
But she did allege. Now, I bet a lot of people, if they became worth $1 billion, would have siblings that accuse them of a lot of things. So I don't know if that's worth anything, but
yeah, right.
Hesher, if you ever have $1 billion, I'm going to accuse you of rape.
Hey, cool.
And you're just to get a settlement.
All right. Well, send me the manila envelope ahead of time. Let me know what you'll accept.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh god, is this one even worth it? Google's using a man dressed as a woman to promote its search engine for Christmas. No, we don't want to watch that video. No, thank you. No, thank you.
What is their angle?
No, I don't want to know about
fabulousness. It's fabulousness, my friend.
It's fabulousness. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Fabulousness. Yeah. Infidel, what do you think, man? Do you think the whistleblower there was shady business or suicide, or perhaps, I mean, there's so many ways one could Occam's razor.
Exactly. I don't think there is enough evidence, right? But as you say, there is just so many things with the board, that the story of the board that we discussed, and then him now. So I don't know what's going on, but it's I don't think there is enough evidence to say one way or the other.
Going to be another Seth Rich story in the end, probably.
Probably. But again, that still does not change what we're talking about the fact that a lot of those OpenAI models are just built on already existing public knowledge and public data. So how are we dealing with copyrights material when it comes to that?
Dude, I gotta wonder, maybe this is is it just that like this is all going to come down and change so fast that artists won't be making money on art anymore at all, and they won't be able to afford the lawyers to try and sort all this stuff out? I mean, I keep seeing, videos about some of the upgrades in these models, and like I was saying, you need a voice actor, you need a script writer, you need a video editor. Like, if you invest a little bit of money in some of these tools, you can quite literally like buy digital agents to manage all kinds of things. Like I'm seeing entire industries, like it's becoming clearer to me what it's going to look like when entire industries just fucking disappear. And unfortunately, art is one of them. No one's going to be hiring the struggling artist who does pen and ink drawings to do shit anymore, and no one's going to hire the musician in Hollywood or for Netflix movies anymore because they can just vomit.
We have
How-
AI hiring human beings, Hesher, on Fiverr.
Yeah, the Fiverr is going to just be gone. I mean, it probably already is taking a huge hit, and the AI is just going to
No,
vomit.
I don't think you heard me correctly. The AI agents
Oh
are
yeah, they'll
using
have
their
Fiverr
own
accounts.
money
Yeah.
to hire human beings on Fiverr to do work for the AIs.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
That's
dude.
already happening.
Yep. Okay, I got you. Yep.
So I think what we're talking about is the digital part. That I think that's where all those are going to get out of business, like the digital creators, like the digital those that go design icons, the designers, right, the photoshoppers. But I think there will be more demand as that grows to actually handmade art, and that's where humans are going to come back, right?
With their
'cause-
3D printers and shit.
well, no, I mean, I don't. I still think the more that trend will go, and the more that this will be readily available, and people are going to start missing the actual true human art. And I think there will be more bounce back to the analog form of art. But the whole digital side of things will be 100% dominated by AI. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. And it's like the whole hustle culture, right? Like the way people are being taught self-improvement these days is like hustle, 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 work, 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 side hustle, side hustle. And people that have that mindset will inevitably be having these AIs doing all these sort of tasks for them. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's going to put a big rift between people doing physical work with their hands and artisans and stuff, and people that are in this like new 21st century AI hustle mindset, whatever that's going to look like. It's going to be this giant gap between them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, wait until those OnlyFans bitches find like a 400-pound dude sitting on his computer generating hot AI videos,
Making
and
more money than them.
more money than them, because it's gonna be more fucking perfect female bodies than what they can come up with. Just wait, this is gonna happen.
Yeah. This is a bubble that's bound to burst. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
This headline: Infidel, the creative accidents dropped earlier. OnlyFans top earner is a virgin and a devout Christian, but has hauled in $43 million. Wow. Is she AI created, or is like that's the tip of that iceberg? That's all going to go away as these become industry.
Yeah. This
AI,
is
right?
this and porn is one of the first things that's gonna go away. I can bet you like this.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, right?
Well, there's so
but
much disgustingness and human trafficking involved in that whole industry, and foreign interests also, which we won't get into. But you know what I mean.
So yeah, so that's going back to what we were talking about in the green room, right? About that new generation that doesn't know about the meaning of actually creating a skill for you to earn something from it, right? And instead, they are using whatever means they have online, and they just to generate money. I think there will be a moment of reckoning once this AI and this digital technology start catching up, and all of them are going to find themselves out of business.
There's going to be a lot of people out of business, man. That's for sure. But that creates a vacuum. I think that's what we're getting at here. That creates a vacuum, and that vacuum will be filled. So it'll be interesting to see how that, is that going to be a battle of attrition for one side, or, is they going to be able to coexist? I don't know.
I believe there will be a bounce back to truly human ingenuity once this fakery start taking over, right? Once this world that we're talking about of real versus reality start just dissolving, I think you will find that people are going back more to old days, where actually human talent, human ingenuity, away of them from the digital world will be more in demand.
I hope so, man. Santa Claus, put that on our list, all right, for Christmas presents, all right?
It's on it. It
All
is
right.
on the list.
You're gonna go, Santa? Say your message.
I am about to go. I have many things to prepare for. We're getting up to Christmas. This is my busy time of year. I know a lot of people don't realize that. They think I'm all the stuff you see on the movies where we're actually preparing all year long. That's true, but it's only for my elf slaves. I just do the work this week, really. Mostly I just lounge around. But it is getting crunch time, and I have many things to do.
All right, Santa Claus.
You can catch us on the Mystical American Patriot Society, me and my top elf cabbie. And you can see some of my writing under one of my many pseudonyms at matsumoto.substack.com. MATSUMOTO, I guess. Matsumoto.com. And it's good. It's good.
It's excellent. It is excellent. We highly recommend it.
You know what? You're
Santa,
excellent too.
Oh,
can I thank you personally for the gift that you got me? Oh, I don't know how many decades ago. You know the one, my all-time favorite one. Can I just say thank you?
Absolutely. I mean, you deserved it. You were a good boy that year.
Thank you. I'll even share a photo of it with everyone because I know you already know what it was. But I mean, it was
the Millennium
Falcon. The greatest gift ever. I miss that thing so much.
That's a drone?
Is that the drone?
That's a drone?
Ruckus,
you're holding a drone?
My very first drone, everybody. No, that's the Millennium Falcon. Man, I wish I still had that thing. I could retire if I had one of those. I'd put that sucker on eBay and we'd be golden, baby. That's worth more than Bitcoin, I bet you. But yeah, it was a good one. Thanks, Santa. Appreciate it.
Oh no worries, man. And I got your parents that CRTV behind you as well, which was a good one back way in the 70s. When you were just a twinkle in your father's eye. But I saw you even then when you were sleeping.
That's creepy.
Well, having the ability of omniscient sight isn't all it's cracked up to be. You see some things you don't want to.
That's right.
I can only imagine, Santa.
Yeah, but I hope everyone is well. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
All right, there he goes. That's Sumo, aka our Santa Claus, tonight here in the boiler room. Thanks for being with us, Sumo. Check out Mystical American Patriot Society at alternatecurrentradio.com and on all good podcasting platforms. We'll get links to all that on the show page, which will be available at alternatecurrentradio.com. Did you guys see that California has kind of rolled back, what was it, Prop 47 or 48? With Prop 36, and they're now sort of recriminalizing some stuff. It's pretty, yeah. Prop 36 began today in California, and here's what it means. Here, let me show you. Here's what it means for retail theft and drug possession penalties. Proposition 36, which increases punishments for some retail theft and drug possession offenses, went into effect yesterday, Wednesday morning in California. Voters overwhelmingly passed the prop back in November with a 69% majority. The statewide prop was one of the 10 on the November 5th ballot. Here's what it does. Turning some misdemeanors to felonies under Prop 47, Theft crimes such as shoplifting and burglary involving items that are valued at less than $950 are classified as misdemeanors. Also, all drug possessions, including fentanyl and methamphetamine, are considered misdemeanors. But Prop 36 will undo some of those penalty reductions and turn those misdemeanors into felonies, especially if a person committed similar crimes in the past. So, this would also mean a conviction would lead to a sentence of up to 3 years in county jail or state prison. And then under longer sentences under Prop 36, if a group of 3 or more people commit a crime together, such as flash mob robberies that have affected retailers since the pandemic, their felony sentences can be extended by up to 3 years. So that flash mob style, that multiple offender style stuff we've been seeing in California, it looks like those people could end up in jail for between 3 and 6 years now. So rolling it back a little bit, California. Interesting.
They just used the flash mob thing as an example, Hesher. I might like to point out.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got, of course, yeah, exactly, dude. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that regard. They've created such an industry of ignoring crime there now. I mean, Gascon's gone too. DA Gascon got outed in that election. So who knows? Maybe things will get a little bit better here. Maybe.
I doubt it. Didn't they just declare like the avian flu as a
Yeah.
public health emergency?
Yeah,
So
I know. A little bit of
whatever.
hopium there for our California listeners. Not freaking likely, though. Here's this one also. A store in California is going viral for pricing all their items at remember this one? $951 in hopes of scaring away shoplifters. They did this because in California, shoplifting is only a misdemeanor and cannot be considered grand theft unless the value exceeds $950. Yeah. So crazy things like that were having to be done. But yes, in other news in California, oh my God, you guys, really? California has declared an emergency over the bird flu.
Yeah.
The bird flu. No emergency over homelessness, fentanyl deaths, autism rates, nothing like that. But bird flu, sure. California's declared this state of emergency over the bird flu, which is tearing through dairy cows in that state and causing sporadic illness in people in the United States. So there they are with their zoonotic transfer going on here. Reading from AP, that raises new questions about the virus, which has spread for years in wild birds, commercial poultry, and mammal species. This virus, also known as H5N1, blah, blah, blah. They go on and talk about their little PCR test and all that good stuff. But what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean for the people there?
So the interesting thing is that next one I share too, that they recalled all raw milk products in California.
Come on.
Even though that there was nothing detected in them, but they actually recalled them and they suggesting for people not to drink it.
I thought you weren't even allowed to have raw milk in California.
I guess not. I don't know. I was actually surprised reading this too.
Yeah, it's out of CNN Health, CNN.com. Yeah, published just today. It's brand new. More raw milk recalled in California after discovery of bird flu virus in a farm tank. So they stuck their little squeegee in there and they pulled out some milk and they put it in their phony PCR test thing, probably.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you should not be drinking milk that comes from birds.
Don't drink the bird milk, whatever you do.
So to your point,
are we to believe this is going from bird to cow to people, or what are the
I mean, it's going to hit food supply, right?
It may have started with a cat, if I'm not mistaken. I heard something about this, that the cat got sick from the bird flu from the chicken that it ate, and then it scratched a farmer who sneezed on the cow, and that's how this shit started. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. It says that the California Department of Food and Agriculture has issued a statewide recall. And they're saying no illnesses have been reported in connection with this recall, but the department is urging consumers not to use the products and urging retailers to pull them from shelves. out of Modesto. That sucks. Modesto, California-based Valley Milk, Simply Bottled, and Desi Milk have not responded to CNN's request for comment. Probably because they're pissed off that some FDA flunky came into their freaking farm and started moving their little beakers around in their product, and then said you have to throw it all away.
Yeah. So to the point that you were saying, what is the impact of this? As we always say, right? It will be the food supply, and it will be going next to what Bill Gates have been saying. We need to start fucking injecting cows with mRNA vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're indirectly injecting vaccines in whatever it is into people, right?
Yep.
Through the byproduct of cows and birds. So I
Well,
think
what-
that's where that is going.
Yeah, and they want to get rid of the cows anyways, right? Like they would like to just have us eating bugs and our own snot, I guess, and kibble, like animal kibble, soy, genetically modified soy. That's what they'd rather have us eating, stuff that Bill Gates grows, than they would using any cow products. So yeah, why not, do this to industries that are doing all right.
Yeah.
And then scare the public. It's just like the drone thing, we're going to scare the public a little bit more. We're going to push you into our technocracy where you're not going to be eating, farm fresh food anymore. You're going to be eating slop. You're going to be eating soy slop. You're going to be eating bugs.
You're going to be drinking pea milk.
You're going to be drinking pea milk. You're going to be like Luke Skywalker sucking on the rancid tit of the ocean beast, sucking pus out of its genetically modified designer nipple.
Well, we can ease your pain through this because we know you're going to be hungry. That's why we're going to automatically prescribe everybody Ozempic, which helps you feel full without being full.
That's right.
You're good. We got your back, everybody.
Yeah, don't worry about your kidneys. They'll be fine. They'll be great. They won't be harmed.
Yeah, so I don't know how much more madness of this is we're going to see this.
Yeah,
this,
stay out of the food supply
answer.
government. You're not. You're joke. Don't.
And that's really one of the first things that I'm very interested to see how the Trump administration is gonna deal. That's gonna tell me a lot.
You think the Trump administration would send Gavin Newsom emergency money over this? Hell no. But you think the Biden administration, whoever's running that, people are really mad today about this whole who's been running the country thing. I noticed that in my doom scroll, but whoever it is, you guarantee they'll send Gavin Newsom some money for declaring a state of emergency and giving CNN the opportunity to write this piece of crap that we just read right here. They love that kind of stuff. They absolutely love it. I just want to know, like screw all this stuff. I want to know if he's going to have public works, dump sand in the skate parks again. Are you going to do that, Mr. Newsom? Are you going to close the schools, Mr. Newsom? Are you going to go have some fresh milk and $12,000 bottle of wine at the French Laundry while everyone else is stuck at home? It's not like there's a precedent for that, is there? Just curious. Infidel, I got to ask, do you have a smoke alarm back there that needs?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself. It's not that. It just needs to be connected back to the alarm system.
Dude, you got to fix that, dude.
You've acquired quite a number of fans in various chat rooms because of it, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Cricket memes and people are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Are you broadcasting from the woods?
Yeah, it's a cricket.
All right. Cool.
That's what you were supposed to say. You were supposed to say, I got a pet cricket and I'm training it to chirp every 30 seconds on the dot.
On command.
There you go.
He's laughing, but he's muted, so we don't hear the cricket. All right. Yeah. I don't know. What does it mean? Awake Jake posted a Babylon Bee meme in our chat. Newsom says with another $25 billion, he could double homelessness by 2030. Yeah. Cut him that check before it's too late, Mr. Biden or Mr. whoever's sitting in the chair. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know what to say. California social rejects, reach out. Let us know. Does this change your life at all? Is this hilarious to you? I know what my friend Mike Netter would say. I'm sure it's worth listening to. All right. So that's going on. And we also had in that same vein before we, let's see here, where'd it go? Oh, yeah. This one might. Nah, I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save that one. Actually, we won't even go there.
You want to keep it in California then?
Yeah. What else you got in California?
Well, I mean, there's a very wealthy older couple that are quite well known who reside in that area that make the news frequently. The Pelosi's.
Oh, yes, yes.
And yeah, so I don't know. Nancy, poor Nancy. I hope she's doing all right. But allegedly, apparently, she fell down a set of marble a marble staircase, a set of marble stairs. That frail looking old woman took a tumble down a staircase, and she's somewhere. They say she's okay. She's out of the public light right now, which is awfully damn convenient because there's a lot of crazy people out there suggesting she might have something to do with hiring Luigi to shoot and kill that healthcare CEO because he was going to testify as a whistleblower in some insider training scheme that she was involved with. But you know. We would ask her about that, but I'm sad to hear she fell down some marble stairs, and I hope she's all right.
Yeah, really. What timing? How about the timing? How about them apples on the timing? Yeah, that whole set of information has been interesting to follow. This whole Luigi case. I don't know, man. A lot going on there. A lot to unpack on that one.
And if you don't want to touch that, because there is a lot to unpack there. There's also what did Nancy Pelosi used to do? What is she famously known for? What was her role in politics?
It was healthcare stuff, wasn't it?
No. Nancy Pelosi. What did she do?
Speaker.
That's right. Have you heard who the new speaker might be? According to Rand Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember when she had to share her office with someone else? How poorly that went. I can't remember how that whole thing. That was hilarious. I had some great, and the whole thing with David Papp and her husband. Oh my God, she has just been in like the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to like insane politician stories, and it just continues. At least they'll let her hide away like this, whereas like Mitch McConnell, they'll drag him out with the bandage around his head, or while having a stroke or whatever, put him on camera. I don't know. It's a thing. Okay, what else do we got? I'm gonna skip this one. Well, I do think, okay, I'll just mention this at the headline level briefly because it's just mainstream media news now. Kash Patel said, quote, Gina Haspel, as director of the CIA, authorized 6 case officers to be paid off to lie to the world about where COVID came from because it fit the narrative that Fauci and the media wanted out there, end quote. So them's is fighting words among those people from those two camps. It seems as though most people on the right are now lab leak aficionados, and most people on the left are, well, just feeling kind of dumb right now, probably considering that last Senate report, the Ways and Means report that came out on it. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what the world looks like as that coin flips in January. And another one, headline level: deadly virus samples missing in Australian biosecurity breach. There you go. More news about more fear porn about biolabs and whatnot. That one's pretty interesting. But yeah, there you go. There's your update in pandemic industrial complex goings-ons and food supply interruptions, I suppose. We got to throw that in there because it's unfortunately they're connected. All right. What else? That's all I got in my ammunition bucket here. Did I forget any big ones, Ruckus?
Oh crap. Okay, so we're on YouTube. That country in that place on the other part of the world, closer to where our friend Infidel Pharaoh is originally from, has now expanded things to Yemen.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Man, nobody saw that coming, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And that Senate, that National Defense Authorization Act, that cost us $895 billion. $895 billion, approaching $1 trillion. Wow. What do we get for it? The brink of World War III, the brink of financial collapse, constant psychological operations. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? Caitlin Clark apologized for being white. That was fun. Lily Phillips cried after
Wait,
having.
Caitlin Clark? She plays basketball, right?
Yeah. She kind of.
She's white?
Yeah, can you believe that?
Oh, thank God she apologized then. All right, cool.
She's sorry that she's really good at it and she's the wrong color to be really good at it. Apparently, maybe. I don't know. It depends who you ask. I see some people saying that. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't know these things. I've definitely noticed that. That Luigi Mangione thing. Yeah, I'm gonna help save that one and keep monitoring it. It's very strange. I will say that. But yeah, that's all I got, you guys. Infidel, what about you? You got any saved rounds or final thoughts tonight? Anything you want to throw out there into the boiler room before we shut it down?
No, that was actually a pretty fun show. I
Yeah, that
really
was
enjoyed
great,
it quite a bit. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, dude. All right, man. Well, hey, Merry Christmas. Glad you're able to be here tonight. Say hi to the Pharaoh family for us.
I sure will. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And I will see you guys next week.
All right, there he goes. That's Infidel
Thanks,
Pharaoh
Infidel.
punching out. Ruckus, over to you. Saved rounds, final thoughts.
Actually, I just want to say thanks to you for not covering the story that I didn't want to talk about tonight.
Hey, no
Except I just brought it up. But I guess there's some hooer who wants to put 1,000 things inside her body, and we're not talking about vaccines, people. So yeah, that's the society that we live in. I'm not going to go I'm not going to go much deeper, no pun intended, than that. But yeah, we're talking about wieners. Yeah, this lady wants to stuff 1,000 wieners and not in her mouth, apparently. Wild. Luckily, not at the same time, from what I understand. So that's a good thing, because you'd have to be some sort of Japanese anime to do that, right? But thanks for having me, everybody. It was a blast doing the Christmas thing pre-Christmas. So ho, ho, ho. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy Festivus for the rest of us. God bless each and every one of you, and may God save this republic. Ruckus out.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. Catch Ruckus on the Daily Ruckus at alternatecurrentradio.com. Catch Sumo on the Mystical American Patriots Society. Cavi, if you're out there, sorry if we interrupted your mystical evening here, and we're looking forward to catching you in the Mystical American Patriot Society again, and come join us in the boiler room sometime. All of you out there on Rockfin, Rumble, X, Spreaker, YouTube, and everywhere else where we're at. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great holiday with your friends and family, and Merry Christmas on behalf of all of us here at Alternate Current Radio. If you want to support us, you can do that. We got links up for all that stuff. We got a store. You can buy t-shirts. You can get some Daily Ruckus mugs or some Sunday Wire mugs, some Boiler Room mugs, all that stuff. Links are on the description down below. YouTube, it was great being here with you tonight. Thanks. We're not always out on YouTube, but tonight we wanted to make sure and spread some Christmas cheer. All right. This is Hesher for myself and Spore and everybody here in the boiler room. We'll talk to you again after Christmas. Have a good one.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.